Hey everybody, it's Justin from Built, and in my last video on this, we built the auxx-lift aerial mechanized lift system, and we built it so that I could store plywood down below. And being able to get plywood off the floor and hit a button and make it go up to the ceiling is fantastic. I'm super happy that I have this. But when I was filming that video, it dawned on me that this could also be a workbench, especially for somebody with a lot less space than I do. Maybe somebody with a one-car garage. As long as you have enough height in your ceiling, maybe 9 to 10 feet, you could totally install one of these systems where a workbench descends when you need it and goes away when you don't. That way you could still park a car in there or have other accessories and things in that garage that you can use. Sky's the limit as far as how you could build yours out. You could totally put a sunken in contractor saw right here. So you have a huge outfeed table. You could put a router table in here, a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to put a whole bunch of my medium-sized tools on here, particularly maybe some stuff that I don't use as much, like my scroll saw. I barely ever touch that thing. So it needs a home that's out of the way, and this will be a good use for that. I'm going to build an enclosure for around here to try and keep the metal shards when I cut metal on this contained. And then we're also going to do a communal dust collection system. So I only have to hook up my dust port once, and then it'll run to all the different tools that I have on here. So let's get into it today on Built. The first thing that we need to address is the fact that since it's suspended, it is unstable. So we need a stable surface, especially if we're doing something like working at a lathe. And so one option would be to attach legs permanently to this, maybe fold down legs. But you have to consider that every single pound that you add to this is another pound of weight that you're pulling down on whatever ceiling surface you're mounted to. The auxx-lift itself is rated for 600 pounds, but your ceiling might not be. So number one, as in my first video, make sure that you're well informed about what you're mounting this to and how much weight it can support. If you're unsure, consult a professional. But my philosophy with this would be not to add a permanent one because it's just adding more weight. So what we're going to do is add 2 sawhorses with 2x4 supports. That way it's something that's very quick and easy to set up and very quick and easy to remove. All right, so we're on the sawhorse and we're completely stable in all directions right now. Awesome. So that is a very easy way to just be able to support this well, but then when you don't want to use this, you can fold up those sawhorses and put them out of the way. Next, we're going to build an enclosure for this metal chop saw. I received this about 6 months ago, and I do wood, you know? I didn't really think that this was going to be a tool for me, and then I realized that I love it, and I've used it so many times since I received it. I'll be doing a video on this pretty soon. But the big problem is when you're cutting metal, you have very dangerous sharp metal shards that are coming off of your cut. And you want to contain that as much as possible. I don't want it spread all over the shop. So while this won't contain all of it, I'm trying to grab as much as I can. So we're going to try and build as light of a enclosure as possible because again, I don't want to add weight to this unit more than I need to. So we're going to use very thin material and we're going to try and enclose it as much as possible simply because this does have beveling features and whatnot. So it's not like I can make a very small box. I also want to make sure that I do not exceed the closed height. You know, if I leave it in the open position, I can't raise this as high as I would want to. So I will always put this in the lock position before I raise this up, and I want the enclosure to go no higher than this. I now need to mark the table where the saw is furthest protruding to. So I'm going to rotate the saw to its furthest degree. And the thing that's protruding the most is this handle. So what I'm going to do is take a large square, take a piece of scrap wood, put it up against it, and move it back just a teeny bit because I don't want it touching. And I'm going to make a mark on the table. I'm now going to continue to rotate the saw around every few degrees, just making sure that I'm marking the table adequately, and so I know where I need to place my enclosure in the back without it hitting the saw. I'm going to start my enclosure just behind the fence, that way I am not impeding any long materials. I've ripped down some very light pine that is in 3/4 inch by 3/4 inch cubes now. I'm going to use that as my skeleton structure for this. And so I can lay this in place, look at all of my marks on the table, and go ahead and cut to size. I have my base pieces cut, so I'm going to continue building the rest of the structure. I need to know how tall it needs to be. 18 inches. I don't want to exceed the closed height of this saw for storage purposes. But one thing you do want to do if you're interested in putting a top on your enclosure, you have all these nice markings on the table already that you did from marking out where the saw swings to. Take some paper and copy this over, and you have a nice template to go ahead and cut out your top with. Otherwise, if you wait until everything's already constructed, it's a trial and error process, which is very time consuming. I know, I've done it before. So go ahead and just copy it now. It'll save you a lot of time. I'm going to go ahead and glue and brad the structure together. You know, you could leave this as a giant workspace too. Having a big 4x8 assembly table is very convenient. I love having mine here. So being able to have just a giant workspace to send from the ceiling is very cool too. I have it lightly clamped in place, and so now I'm just going to make sure that it's not hit when I rotate the saw around. It looks good, so I'm going to screw it into place before we add our side panels. Okay, so I bought a sheet of 1/4 inch plywood to make my backers for this. I did just discover that I had 3 pieces that are the exact correct length in my scrap pile that are just shy of being tall enough, but they do cover over the opening if I raise it up a little bit. So I'm just going to use these for this project. This is just for me in an enclosure. The main thing is that it's covering over the openings. I'm not too worried about this being pretty. So we're going to attach that. We're going to cut some metal. We're going to see if it collects things in here, if it does its job, and then we'll move on to the rest of this table. All right, I just did some cuts. I have no shavings on the outside of the enclosure, and when we look on the inside of the enclosure, woo, we got a lot of stuff in here. So I didn't put a top on this. I was interested to see without the top, would it hold everything in, and it did, so pretty pleased. I'm installing the dust collection adapter for my dust right hose. We're going to put it into a Y that has a 4-inch and 2.5-inch adapter on it. The 4-inch is going to go over to the lathe with a blast gate, and then the 2.5-inch is going to have a blast gate that then goes to all of the smaller parts tools that are going to be going on the table. Most of these tools have very small ports that I had to 3D print adapters for just for them to be able to accept the 2.5-inch hose. Our dust collection hub in the middle is done. I have a 2.5-inch and a 4-inch blast gate. Off the 2.5-inch, I have a hose, and this hose is able to reach any one of the tools on the table. Now, to make that very quick and easy, what I did was I 3D printed magnetic quick disconnects. So literally, that's all it takes to hook up one of my tools. So every one of the tools on this table is going to get a small piece of hose attached to a female, and then the male version will go around and just connect in, and you have dust collection at each one of the hoses. I thought that was a better idea than doing like 5 blast gates, 5 hoses, stuff like that. This is a lot simpler. Now for the 4-inch, I'm eventually going to put a shield right here with dust collection at the bottom, so as a lathe is just churning out the chips, it'll just suck it down at the bottom and I can swipe it in there at the end. This lathe though, I just bought it for this video because it was a good excuse. I've been wanting a lathe. I want to learn how to use one. I know how to use one, but you know, I want to own one and play with it a lot more. So this one is junk though. I bought a cheapo one, and as soon as I took it out of the box, I was like, nope, this is going right back to Amazon. So if you have a good idea for a good beginner's lathe, not super expensive, preferably, let me know down in the comments because I'm in the market. Let's go ahead and finish setting up the table. She might not be the prettiest, but it's definitely functional, and it's a big workspace. So that's really what I was trying to convey here. So we have our metal cutting saw with enclosure, Craig jig. I made sure that this enclosure and saw was offset to allow boards to pass through for the Craig jig. I have a small disc and belt sander that I got for Christmas. That has 2 dust collection ports, so I put them together with a Y for the connect. Have my scroll saw, oscillating and spindle sander, which is super easy to just take my port, connect it over here, move it back again, takes 2 seconds. And then, of course, my future lathe. Hopefully I get some great recommendations from you all, I'm sure I will, with the dust port for everything. And of course, the #1 feature, which when I press this button, it disappears. It is really cool to be able to put wood and some of my tools up out of the way, press a button, and they come down when I need them. So it has been a really cool addition to my shop. So thanks again to auxx-lift for supplying this. I'll link them down below if you're interested in taking a look at some of their stuff. They even have smaller lifts too. It doesn't have to be a 4x8. They have 4x4 and other sizes. So definitely a very cool product to take a look at. If you got some good content out of the video, I hope you'll like and subscribe, and stay safe in the shop. I'll see you in the next one.